And we are live for this evening's Freedom Series episode with Angus Thurston. Mate, how you doing this evening?
Very good, mate. Yourself?
Mate, living the dream. It's an amazingly stormy night here in usually sunny Perth, WA. And I'm really pumped to chat to you, mate, about your kind of path to freedom. You run a phenomenal trades business, and I know that we speak to a lot of tradies who have massive amount of issues with hiring the right staff, with gaining consistency in terms of workflow and things like that. I know this is something that you've started to absolutely nail within your business, and I'm keen to kind of share that with everyone watching this evening. And, you know, if you're joining us from anywhere in the world right now, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Super grateful. And I trust you're going to get a huge amount of value tonight. And can I just ask you one thing, and that is to start a watch party and to share this out to community as well, because there'll be a bunch of stuff to share with you guys this evening. Rafi from my team is monitoring all the chats everywhere we are right now. So at any stage throughout the next sort of half an hour, 45 minutes, please feel free to put any comments, any questions you got down below, and we'll absolutely be sure to get them answered for you as well. So Angus, for those of the amazing people out there tonight who haven't met you before, do you want to just give like a 1 or 2 sentences of kind of who you are and what sort of business you run?
Yeah, so we're based in Sydney. We're a small like resi building company. We focus, obviously lately we've really started to niche down on who we're focusing on, but it's really aimed at new custom homes, luxury sort of renovations and new builds. Yeah.
Okay. So where did things start for you? Because like where you are now and how your business operates now is very different to how it was a couple of years ago. So could you maybe just kind of take us through where you're at a couple of years ago? I guess the importance is that there's a lot of business owners out there that are struggling right now. And to be fair, we're probably struggling before COVID-19 and a lot of the shit we've had to go through this year, but nonetheless are struggling. And, you know, I know that it doesn't have to be that way. And you know that now as well. And I guess, you know, our hope through running this Freedom Series in the lead up to the launch of my new book, The Path to Freedom, is to kind of provide as much free information and insights into business owners to, I guess, inspire them, give them hope that things can be different to how they've currently been. So take us back a couple of years ago, mate. How are things for you?
Well, I suppose I've been doing this, working like this company's been running for about 6 or 7 years now, I suppose. I started out just as a chippy, started out subcontracting to other people and whatnot, just sort of basically doing whatever I could to try and get a bit of cash in the door. From then sort of went to me to having one apprentice, and now there's about 8 or 9 of us. And from up sort of fast forward a couple of years to say 2 years ago, things have changed like massively. I've always had a pretty strong mindset, you know what I mean? Like I've always done things that might have cost me money at the time, but I could see where it was going to help me in the future, I suppose, which was a big thing, I suppose, coming on board with the game changers as well, which having the right mindset at the start of it, I think sort of has helped me sort of boost ahead a little bit quicker than what I could have if I didn't have that mindset. But yeah, now I'm in a pretty good place now. It's, I suppose the best part for me is being able to sit back and look down on the company from above. And I suppose you can sort of see all the little levers that you can pull on and whatnot to push the company forward. That for me, that's where it gets exciting. You know, I mean, we can pull on your marketing lever, get more leads coming in, and you're not worried about the work coming in. You're not worried about stuff not getting done properly, I suppose. And no, it's a good place to be, I suppose. Yeah.
So if we go back 2 years ago, if you can remember, like what were some of the challenges that you were having back then in running a business? Like where you are now, you see those levers, you said, you know, you can see which ones to pull to make happen. And essentially there's no worry or fear around business or business succeeding. But I know it wasn't like that a couple of years ago. Like what were some of the challenges that you were having a couple of years back?
Definitely hiring and onboarding new staff was a massive one, which I know you may have spoken about previously. That was a big game changer as well. Probably like a lot of tradies out there, I had the mindset of there's no good tradesmen left out there.
Many business owners, not just tradies, many business owners have the belief that, you know, I can't find someone as good as me or as consistent as me or as productive as me.
Yeah, 100%. And like I've had countless conversations with people prior to that going, oh, they're all going to uni. There's no good tradies left out there. It's bullshit, really. Sorry if I'm allowed to swear on here or not, but yeah, I've had a complete mindset shift on that, which has been awesome. To now that there are good people out there, we were just doing a terrible job of hiring them.
Yeah.
Or finding them, I should say.
Both.
Yeah, exactly.
What was workflow like back then? Was there consistency of workflow, or was workflow kind of up and down as you jumped around from like quoting to sales to kind of delivering, and also not just workflow, but the quality of work and the profitability of work back then?
Well, I suppose we didn't really have our finger on the pulse in terms of profitability that much, not as much as we do like these days. It was like we've always had work, but it was always at the back of your mind. Relying on word of mouth it's just, it's a vulnerable place to be, I think. If you've got no other marketing funnels and no other streams of leads coming in, just relying on that in itself, when things do go bad, it's sort of like, well, that's my only source of marketing.
So out of curiosity, if you're watching this live right now, if you could have one of three swipe and deploy blueprints in your business right now, I'm curious to know which one you'd have. Would you have one that would guaranteedly hire you, like the top tier talent? Anytime you run an ad, you just attracted the most amazing employees for your business who want to pay, play, and stay long term. That's number one. Would you like number two? Would you like like a swipe and deploy system to generate consistency in high quality leads for your business? Or number three, would you like the methodology to develop like a bulletproof mindset, a mindset that allows you to kind of overcome and get through any challenge or obstacle or adversity that you're faced with? So one being a system for hiring team, two being a system for generating amazing leads, or three being mindset. Like if you could wave your magic wand right now and just comment in the chat below wherever you're watching this, which one would you take on board? So Angus, like a couple of years ago, challenges with hiring the right staff, believing there wasn't any good staff out there. You had a pretty strong mindset, and mindsets, it's very complex as such, and there's many layers and many viewpoints. There was an aspect of mindset that was believing that there was no good staff out there, but you had the mindset in terms of you were determined and willing to step in, willing to face it, being uncomfortable to learn new things, or to, invest now for rewards later. You weren't playing the short-term game.
Yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't say it was like a sophisticated mindset. It was more a stubborn mindset, like a bit of a bull in a china store. You know what I mean? Like I'll get there, but it'll be messy along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And so then there was inconsistency of work coming in as well, because you're kind of trying to, I guess, wear many hats and keep the business afloat. Now, if we kind of move forwards to, let's say 6 months ago, like pre-COVID as well, like where were things at for you and for the business? So I know traditionally trades businesses, we're talking trades businesses specifically at this point in time, but are quite busy in the lead up to Christmas time, maybe flatten off a little bit earlier, Jan. Like what were things like for you kind of earlier, end of last year, start of this year, 6 months ago?
They were pretty consistent. Like we'd managed to lock in like some good contracts over that period of time, which was good. It saw us through that sort of rough patch. We had a couple of jobs get postponed, and I know a lot of other tradies, not just tradies, business owners in general, had a lot of scarcity out there at that point in time. But we've come through it, and now we're busier than we were pre-COVID. So
yeah.
So I don't know. It's hard to sort of. I was predicting it to sort of dive off a little bit, but it's sort of done the complete opposite.
Yeah. How was your mindset? There's a couple of questions I've got here, and then we'll move into a different direction. But like, how was your mindset coming into that? Like, I know that there was typically a lot of fear in the marketplace and a lot of uncertainty during that time. Like, how was your mindset? Having had in place all the things that you've done and kind of been through some considerate work with upgrading your inner game as well.
Yeah.
Like, what was your mindset like during those times?
Yeah, it was pretty strong. Like I was quite confident that everything would be fine. Obviously, we had plans in place. Should obviously everything get shut down, we couldn't work. We were set up, ready to go. But 4 different sort of contingency plans that we were ready to put in place, which also gave me a bit of peace of mind. You know what I mean? To sit back and go, look, if this does happen, then we know what we got to do. It might not be comfortable, but we know what we got to do beforehand, which is just, it's a better place to be than to be scrambling to try and make something happen last minute.
Yeah. And I feel, unfortunately, that's where, like, I see a lot of business owners are at, is because of the sheer amount that they feel they have to do day to day and not being clear on what those levers are. It's like they're managing a million different things, that when something happens, like let's just say COVID, or tax time comes around, something happens, they're faced with a situation that they're not prepared for. And so therefore it creates even more stress in the organization. Whereas when there is things set up the right way, obviously things like COVID happened, and as you said, like, you're prepared, you had 4 different contingency plans in place. They wouldn't have been comfortable or easy, but you're aware of what had to happen, which then allows you to just focus on taking one step in front of the other every day and focus on the work at hand, which ended up getting you in a position where you've come out the other side even stronger for it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think in that position, when you are wearing so many hats in a small business, it's very hard to step back and see the bigger picture. When you're running around estimating, quoting, doing all the little bits and pieces that you may not need to do, it's very hard to sit back and put your creative hat on for a minute and come up with new ventures for the company, new ideas for the company.
Well, it's so hard, because the part of your brain is almost moved into a space of like fight or flight and scarcity.
Yeah.
And that part of the brain that creates all those chemicals to keep us safe when those things happen are very different chemicals than ones that create innovation and growth and abundance in that regard as well. We've got a bunch of questions coming in, which I'm going to get to in a second. Before we do though, like, I'm curious to know, no doubt there's people watching this right now, either live or on the replay. If you are, please hit the like or the love button. Let us know that you're there. Say good day. Let us know where you're calling in from. That may be where you were a couple of years ago, right? What were some of the steps that you took to get from there to now? If you look back, like, what were some of the big aha moments or the steps or the defining moments that allowed you to start to transition from, because I get it, like, business owners are like, oh, hey, like, I'm overwhelmed. I've already got a million things to do. How can I now go and do more stuff to move forwards? But yet that's almost what gets us stuck as well. Like, what were some of the things that you did to transition from there to now?
I probably started doing less, to be honest. I started trusting my team more and doing less of what I didn't want to be doing and more of what I wanted to be doing. And like we were just talking about, taking that time to really sit back and allow yourself the time to come up with what direction you want the company to head in, you know, and sort of get out of the rat race for a little bit and just enjoy the journey of business, I suppose. I've really started to enjoy it the last couple of years.
It's so counterintuitive though, because it's like, oh, I've got bills to pay, I've got tax to sort out, I've got to get all this work done. Like, how can I do less? But I remember distinctly that moment for me, you know, 11 years ago, 12 years ago, when I was stuck in my office. It was 2 a.m. in the morning. I was still programming jobs for my CNC machine, kitchens to cut out. And there was this, almost like this voice from God or something. It's like, it'll be there tomorrow. Like, the work will still be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
And me staying around for another hour, another 5 hours wasn't going to change the fact of where things were at.
Yeah.
And it was the battle that I had to face and overcome in myself that started to see things shift significantly. And equally too, it's like, we teach a process, as you know, the task order, which is just that. It's one of the first things we teach our clients, and it's something we give away in the book as well, because it allows you to start to take that disassociated viewpoint of looking into your business, looking into your tasks, your roles, your responsibilities, and start to question them in a way that's like, do I actually need to be doing this stuff?
Yeah.
Or can my team be doing it? Or should we not be doing it at all because it's not moving us forwards? And it really starts to create the separation from being like busy to being productive. Like, you can be busy or you can be productive, but often you can't be busy and productive, right? There's to be more purpose in the projects and the tasks that we're doing.
Yeah, 100%. Like, the task order is, I've done it myself, and it's, it's a massive help. It's like just doing a brain dump of everything getting out of your head and putting on paper or a spreadsheet, whatever. It always helps to sort of push you forward and clear some of that stuff out of your mind so you can get a bit more creative and can think what's going to push your company forward more, I suppose.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you just joined us live, welcome. Thanks for coming. Please feel free to put your comments, your questions below, and we'll get them answered in just a second. So for you, what you're saying is if there's people out there watching this right now that are kind of overwhelmed, got a million things on board, there's inconsistency with jobs, one of the first steps before anything is to do less. And in doing that, it's to kind of essentially brain dump all the stuff you're doing out of your head. And we do include the process within the book if you want to get the book as well. My team put a link below. We're taking pre-orders now. Dump all the stuff out. We go through a sorting process to sort them into 4 buckets. And then from those 4 buckets, the steps around, based on what bucket they sit in, how to start to move those tasks to other team members or to other contractors or to other priority lists in such a way that you can be focusing on what's moving your business forwards. Because unfortunately, a lot of business owners are undercharging for the services that they're putting forth or products they're putting forth. They're putting out products and services that aren't profitable as well. And they're doing a whole bunch of stuff that's not within their sweet spot as well, which means that, like I remember, like I used to clean my office. And one night, this is a long time ago, I was like, why am I like sweeping and vacuuming when I can hire someone for 25 bucks an hour to do this? Like I can go and quote a job right now, win a job and make myself like a few $100 an hour.
Yeah.
Like, why the hell am I here like vacuuming and mopping the floor? But yet so often when people move into business, they come from being an employee with an employee mindset, which is like hard work or more work equals more money. Yet in business, it's the complete opposite. It's like more leverage, right? Better thinking creates more money.
Yeah, it's having a much more strategic overview of the company, isn't it? Like you were just saying, you're sitting there mopping floors, but you can go out and quote one job and then delegate the rest of the tasks, and it's probably paid for a cleaner for a month.
Yeah.
And personally, I think like a lot of entrepreneurs have that streak in them where they just want to keep going and going and going forward, whether it's mopping floors or cleaning their desks, you know what I mean? As long as if there's something in front of them, it's very easy to get distracted and just focus on getting that one thing done. So, and having the ability to sort of step back and go, turn that energy towards something that's going to push you forward a bit more.
Well, something's going to bring about an ROI. Sure, if you enjoy cleaning the floors, like do it. Like if you're passionate about it and it gives you buzz and gives you energy, absolutely do it. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people making stupid decisions. It's like, smart people spend money to save time. Stupid people spend time to save money.
Yeah.
So look at, and the task audit goes through it as well. Like looking at what we're doing, how much time we're putting into it, and whether or not we can hire someone else. And it is a mindset shift because like, I haven't got any money right now. It's like, we haven't got any money because you clean the bloody floors or the toilets or you're doing your own bookkeeping, all these other things. It's like, if you found someone to do that stuff, you could then spend your time going quoting more jobs or delivering more jobs or selling more product, the things that generate a higher ROI. Let's jump into questions for a second. So Nathan from Brisbane. Hey, Nathan, how you doing, mate? For Angus, do you have a young training program in the works?
Young training program for apprentices or?
Yeah, I'm assuming that's
onboarding. Yeah. Well, that's a great question, to be honest, because it sort of comes back to the hiring section that we're at the start of this. As you know, Barry, like it's all well and good to bring on sort of A-game talent, but if you don't have that back-end training or the culture within your company, like that the talent's not, they're either going to leave or they're going to turn into bad employees because they don't care about what you're doing because there's no sense of fulfillment for them, I suppose. So yeah, we definitely do. It's still a work in progress, but like we do monthly meetings, we do monthly training workshops for the guys. Like there's a lot involved in keeping that culture strong, I suppose, once the onboarding's sort of done. Yeah.
And it depends what stage of growth you're at too. Like I've seen work with a lot of tradies and see a lot of tradies that are like the sole trader and they want to start growing the business. So one of their first hires is an apprentice because they think, oh, well, it's cheap and I can train them up. What they're not thinking though, like again, stupid decision. Most tradies do it, stupid decision, because you're going to spend a ton of time training that person. It's a huge risk. And most likely you shit at hiring people that early on in business.
Yes.
So you make a dud hire you then hold on to them for way too long because you have a beautiful heart and you want to kind of look after them, but they're costing you a ton of time and you're not able to leave them alone on site because they're an apprentice. And what we often say is if you're very early on as a sole trader and want to grow a trades business, first utilize contractors. Now, straight away, it's like, oh yeah, but contractors cost more money. Yes, but if you can't make a margin off them, you're not running a profitable business. Like if you're a sole trader, you should be able to charge out other sole traders and make a margin on top. And if you can't, you're not running the right margins. And so that's what we always recommend in the beginning is to kind of like, it's very, very low risk to outsource that labor to grow things up. And I know there's a bunch of objections people are probably thinking right now watching this. Oh yeah, but what if they steal my work? What if this, what if this? Yes, we've got strategies to overcome all of that. But equally too, if you are now in a business where you've got 4, 5, 6 employees and you've got some really good quality tradies, it is a time to bring on board apprentices and start to train that, play that longer term game, train some phenomenal talent because you have a hiring process in place that hopefully is proven and works, right? Without getting stuck for an apprentice for 4 years, to bring in younger talent, to give them a go and to build up a phenomenal culture that way as well. So
sorry, just on the back of that, like that's sort of where we're at is training them up and keeping them within finding someone that's a really good cultural fit and then bringing them up through the company, and then potentially they're going to stay with the company for a lot longer period of time. So like you said, it is a much longer term investment, but you hope that it pays off. That if your onboarding is good and your culture is good and it's all sort of keeping up with each other, then yeah, I tend to agree. It's a lot more work than getting subbies, but the payoff may be bigger. At the same time, if you work out the cost of 5 years of training opposed to subbing out the work and getting it done, then I suppose you've got to weigh which one's more profitable, really, don't you?
Yeah, and that's the thing is actually question the assumptions and not just make the assumption I'm hiring this person because they're cheaper. Well, they're not really when you work the numbers out, but equally to understanding what stage of business growth you're at and understanding like what's my short-term play right here? What do I need right now? Do I need cash? Do I need talent? Do I need time? And what's my longer-term play? Sam from Melbourne, late in the show, has he talked about if he was able to achieve some surprise wins in the past few months, like expansion amongst others? So Angus, over the past couple of months during COVID, what were some of the wins that you guys did have?
I suppose a win was just keeping open and keeping a constant flow of leads coming in through the whole thing. Like we've probably had 50% more inquiries since COVID's come along. To me, that was a bit of a win, just knowing that our stuff that we're putting in place is working. Like we've had some big wins with the team as well. I suppose all the teams working, they all work to KPIs and that kind of thing, which they quite enjoy because it, not to sort of take away from it, but it does gamify it a little bit for them, I suppose. Absolutely. And they're all quite competitive, so they like that chase of hitting all their KPIs and whatnot. So even with COVID, we have had a lot of wins, little ones, big ones. I suppose they're all the little ones pushing up to our major vision. Yeah,
absolutely. One thing I guess, from an outside point of view looking in, the main thing is just how consistent you stayed through that time and our focus stayed on moving forwards. Which was, regardless of what happened, it was out of your control. What was in your control of how you chose to show up, how you chose to lead your team, the fact that you kept running your marketing, you kept on doing your quotes and that sort of thing. You kept showing up and didn't get distracted by all the uncertainty that was being plastered across social media. Like, I don't know, like it wasn't that long ago. Do you remember your newsfeed was just like everything COVID, negative, like bullshit related.
Yeah, I just turned it off, to be honest.
Yeah, which was I think the right thing to do, to stay focused on at hand. At the end of the day, if you got shut down, you got shut down. But you made hay while the sun shined as well, and managed to ride through. Vanessa commented too, the task order is a game changer. Absolutely is. So let's talk about hiring, Angus, because you're someone who has taken our hiring process and just nailed it. You took on board what we've said. You've nailed it. You've done an incredible job. And I know that it's one of the biggest problems that many business owners face is not firing. They do plenty of that, is hiring top tier talent. Can you kind of talk us through, I guess, without going through the whole strategy per se? We do teach it in the book. We do give the flow charts. We give the interview questions, like we give the how-tos. Everything's in the book or a free downloadable resource off the back of the book as well. But can you kind of talk us through, I guess, what some of the changes have been from how you used to hire staff to maybe how you hire them now?
I think a massive part of it was really, like, I spent probably 8 hours like creating an avatar for my ideal employee. So the same as you would with your marketing, really defining who you're targeting, who you want to come into the company and fit within like the core values you've set for the company, which is something I've never done before. I used to, if someone gave me someone's number, I'd give them a call. Yeah, you want to start Monday? Cool. Let's do it for a week and see how it goes. And then it would generally drag out for a month and I'd go, yeah, it's not working.
And cost you a shitload of money and time in the process.
Exactly. Not to mention, it's not a great look for your clients either, having a big turnover of staff.
And also too, like it's a shit thing for culture.
Yeah, massively. So yeah, I think really defining, like, because it's kind of different to sit back and go, I want this exact person down to a T. You get a lot more out of it by doing that. And it takes a bit more time up front, but once you've got it now, we push a button, the ad goes out, it's done. You know what I mean? It's very easy to implement now that we've set it all up.
And the predictability too now is ridiculous in terms of, like, there's absolute certainty that you literally push the button, which is all it is, to post an ad. And you know with absolute certainty that within a period of time, you're going to bring on board another incredible team member, as you have done in the past, because it's a proven process. But, you know, as you said, you've put the work up front when many wouldn't. It's like, oh, I'm just busy, I just need someone, like, start on Monday. But then the opportunity cost of that is huge.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it was hard not to go back to my old ways and start smashing China again, because I wanted to just put it out there and just grab someone because I needed them. But I resisted and stayed true to that path, and yeah, it was a good decision.
Yeah, outstanding. If you guys have got any questions watching it today live, please, if you've got any questions around the hiring process, anything for Angus or myself, jump in the comments and let us know, and we'll get them answered for you shortly. So Angus, what have been some of the other defining moments for you that have really turned business around? Like, a lot of people dream of being in a position where their business is kind of operating consistently. They've got an amazing team that's kind of delivering the work. You don't necessarily have to show up to do anything, and your team does their things. The stuff you do now, like you said before we jumped on, you've been spending a lot of time training more on marketing and stuff. That's a passion of yours now. But the business itself is running very well to where it was a couple of years ago. And I know there's a lot of people that just dream of being there. What have been some of the other things, like you mentioned before, and obviously the task audit and organising, you know, what you're doing, but what have been some of the other ones for you?
What else we had in there? Yeah, the task audit was massive. Like we said, even just going through that process, which I know you put in your book, just going through that process and getting it all out of your head, and it's kind of like you finish it and you just feel like this wave of relief come over you, like, all right, I can relax now and pick out what I actually want to do. That's been cool. The marketing side of stuff it's a whole new world to me. Obviously, there's not many tradies out there that are good marketers or copywriters or anything like that. That's probably, marketing's been a massive defining thing for me, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like the ability to really understand other people's problems, like, if not better, as good as they would like you to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like understanding their problems better than they do is something I'd never even thought about in terms of marketing. Like, obviously coming, like, school, I hated school when I was in high school, purely because I didn't see any worth in what I was learning. I left school, became a carpenter. I was on site for the rest of my life till I started this company. And you don't get taught those things very often, you know what I mean? Unless you go do a marketing degree or do that, you don't really get taught the ins and outs of it. And having the ability to to speak, you don't have to be an expert, I don't think, with those kind of things. Even like accounting, marketing, being an expert is not crucial, but being able to speak the language of the people that do it for you, I think is crucial, because if you don't know what they're doing, then
that's a huge point. Is, you know, it's very difficult to find a marketing agency off the get-go that will understand your clients as well as you do. And often, even as business owners, we don't really understand our clients that well, but we still understand them more than a marketing agency. So actually then actively spending time to do it. And this is where, Angus, like I was curious to know from your perspective, for me, this is where you can start to charge a lot more money. This is where you can start to win a lot more work and not compete on price, because the customer knows that you know them, that they feel a huge amount of trust there. There's a huge amount of authority. Like, have you noticed going through this process that you win more work now, that you win better quality clients, that you're more profitable?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'll turn away a lot of stuff now if it doesn't, not that it doesn't interest me. If I don't feel it's a good fit, like culturally with them, with us, if the profit's not there, then I won't do it. I won't just go chase anything that I want. I'll sort of take the pick of what I want to do. Which is, it's very nice to be able to sort of pick your work like that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what, sorry, I was just going to say, it's kind of what attracted me to yourself, Barry. Like, you don't just sort of say one thing and do another thing. It's very evident with the people. I think you attracting your team and the people around you that, you know, it's true and it works, basically.
Yeah, we qualify a lot of people out. But likes attract likes, and that's the thing, is that there's a few aspects here. Depends on how like woo we want to go. There's the one aspect which is just, you know, through you understanding your client's problems. It's I think it was Eugene Schwartz that said that if you can articulate somebody's problems to them better than they can themselves, they unconsciously and automatically assume you have the solutions. Right? So if you can go and meet a prospect, and I used to do this when I ran my kitchen business, is that I would be able to like just talk the talk, and it wasn't bullshit. Like I knew kitchens, I knew renovations like the back of my hand, even better. And it was evident whenever I had a conversation with someone that they would buy me then and there because of how knowledgeable I was, because of how much I gave them, just in terms of the free advice. Like they knew that I knew them. And that's great. But then if we talk from an energetic standpoint, it's like the universe only ever just says yes to us. And so if we start taking on board shitty clients, or clients that don't pay well, or clients that we think that we have to heavily discount because we need the work, the universe just says yes and sends us more of those. And any business owner that's gone through this process, and I know they'll agree with me in a moment when I share it, any business owner that's gone through a process where they've said no to a client because they weren't right, knows how significantly that impacts the future of your business. That first no, when it's like, you know what, this is not a fit for us. Like, no, like we're not going to do this, or no, I'm not going to give you a discount. Like the clients you attract there and afterwards, the workflow that you get is so different because you value who you are and what you're about. And it's clear in that. And then the universe can show up and be like, hey, Angus, here's more of those dream clients of yours because you've told us what you want, right? And also we're more noticeable to see them out there. But it's often a hard point I see for a lot of business owners to make, because it's like, well, I've got to pay my bills. I've got, you know, I prefer the table. I need jobs coming, and they say yes to everything and wonder why they're not making profit. They're running around in bloody circles. They can't attract good clients. You know, clients don't pay on time or always want discounts. And then they wonder why they eventually get to a place where they can't win work. You know, they're not winning work is after a long line. They're not valuing themselves enough to charge what they're worth and go out there and only bring on board clients that they want to serve.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you. You end up burning the candle on both ends and running on the hamster wheel, so to speak, getting nowhere, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Nathan here. Nathan asks, Angus, could you share 1 to 2 cities or regions that you see potential good areas for the construction industry to expand to?
It's a great question. I don't know. This is probably a good question for George McCoskey. I know he loves this kind of thing.
Well, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast, the kind of Golden Triangle up there is still a very good investment opportunity. Therefore, there's plenty of construction going on.
Yeah. In terms of cities, like I think Sydney's always going to be a massive hub for construction. There's no plans on anything slowing down in Sydney. Like if you come, I'm out from like Kellyville kind of way. If you come out here, if you were out here a year ago and come out here now, you wouldn't recognise the place. And it's not slowing down. Like you look at the population increase and all that kind of stuff, overseas migration, like it's massive still. Like everyone says it's slowing down, but at the end of the day, people need somewhere to live, don't they? So
yeah, absolutely, with a growing population. Absolutely. But once again, regardless, like if you have the right, if you know your niche very well and you have the right offer, you're always going to be busy or, be in a position where you can attract work as well. And I guess that's why two things, like one is you need to know that, two is you need to be free from your business. So you can be having, like you said, that oversight view of what's going on. So you can start to see when the market's shifting and, modify your strategy and modify your approach to the market to ensure that you always have business coming through. And as you said, Angus, like you had 4 different contingency plans in place if COVID forced you to shut down to ensure you could keep moving through. Now, it wasn't necessarily going to be what you wanted to do, but you had them in place to ensure you could keep trading, in some form or another. And I think we only get to that stage when we can get free of doing all those things in the business that we don't enjoy doing, that aren't revenue generating, that aren't providing good ROI of our time, and that are keeping us stuck on the hamster wheel. Yeah,
100%. Like, I don't know if you saw that thing I put up the other day. What was it? If you go to war without a plan, you die. I can't remember where I heard that, but it really resonated with me. You know what I mean? Like, because there's so many business owners out there that really are making decisions, like reactively making decisions daily or weekly or even monthly. But once you set that out into yearly, 3 yearly, 10 yearly goals, and then break that down even further into quarterly chunks, it's much easier to see what you need to do to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And that entire system we include in the book, The Path to Freedom, as well. Like it's all intertwined, everything from your vision, mission, values, through to your goals, through to, you mentioned KPIs, through to hiring team to execute them. Like it's all part of the system that we teach here within my book. If you want to jump at the pre-order, I'll get Rafi to put a link down here. We're taking pre-orders. Official release is the 3rd of August, which is pretty exciting. We opened up pre-release orders yesterday, and it was just amazing, the response that we've had from people. And equally, 2 people who read the book already that was lucky enough to get a copy have shared some pretty amazing feedback too.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my copy to turn up on my doorstep.
Yeah, absolutely.
You must have forgot about me.
No, in the printers. So, mate, a couple of questions. If anyone's out there's got any questions, please feel free to ask them now. Otherwise, we'll be wrapping up shortly. Mate, if you were to give advice to the 10-year-old version of you, having been through what you've been through now, knowing what you know, what advice would you give him?
It's a great question. You stumped me there a bit. I wasn't expecting that.
The first thing that comes to mind.
I'll probably say enjoy learning instead of like find something you enjoy and just learn as much as you can about it. And find mentors, be a sponge and suck up as much knowledge as early as you can. I wish I didn't wait as long to start being a sponge. I'd have done it maybe 5 years earlier. Insane. I'm not running short of time, hopefully, but if I could have said anything, it would be that. Just find something that you enjoy and learn from mentors. And
yeah. I noticed there's kind of a common theme amongst a few things that you've shared, and really I can see too, it attributes to the success that you're getting, and that is that you're very prepared to and willing to play a longer term game than most. I feel that often we go into business and we underestimate what we can achieve in a short period of time. It's like we're sold this reality that we can build a $100,000, $200,000 a year income overnight in the online world, and wake up and check our Stripe account, we've got cash in the bank.
Yeah.
And although absolutely it's possible, I think that the time frame is very manipulated by some of the people that are selling this dream. And I absolutely believe that you can get to a position where you can have a business that runs without you and makes you a ton of money. I don't just believe it, like I know it to be the fact, and I've seen it and helped many create it. But I just think that people's expectations of what it takes to get there are a bit off. And I guess that's what I'd say too, is that, you know, be prepared to do the work and be careful not to kind of compare your first chapter to someone else's fifth chapter. Like, you have no idea what others have got to have been through, or what they have been through to get to where they are. But it's one thing I noticed about you, Angus, time and time again. You actually came into our community with that already, which was a little bit rarer, which is your ability to play the longer term game and play more of a patience game than trying to be kind of quick just to get shit done.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, mate, if there's anyone out there right now who is watching this, maybe they're a chippy, or they know a chippy who's looking for a job within New South Wales, or maybe it's someone who's looking for a new renovation, like, what's the easiest way they can get in contact with you?
Easiest way is probably just hit us up via email, just at info@timberworks. That's timberworks.com.au, and we'll definitely get back to them.
Yeah, fantastic. Just a couple of last comments here. Angela Nicholas said the government's also investing heavily in infrastructure. Yeah, the government, I know for a fact that during COVID, the construction was the last thing they wanted to shut down, because they knew that if they were going into like countrywide lockdown, construction is something that generates a lot of income within the country, and something they wanted to keep open as long as humanly possible. And they managed to do that in most areas. Yeah,
well, I think it's like something like 10-15% is of Australia's population is directly employed by construction services. Then you've got all the indirect labours, carpet installers, blind installers, all that sort of stuff. So it's such a big industry for them to think about shutting down that I can't see it really happening, to be honest. But yeah, absolutely. Angus, thank you so much for your time this evening. Thank you to everyone who's joined in live, wherever you are, and also to those who've watched the replay. If you'd like to get access to my book, The Path to Freedom, please click on the link below. We'd be more than happy to send you a copy out once it gets printed, and the official release date on the 3rd of August. Really, I guess the premise is we just want to help more people to build successful businesses and, you know, to create profitable businesses that can work without them. Because I think that entrepreneurs have the ability to change the country more so than the politicians and the leaders of the country and the world. And I think that, you know, we have the power to do that, not just for us, for our family, but obviously for our greater community as well. So appreciate all the support within getting our vision out there. Angus, again, thank you so much, mate, for all that you do, for who you are in our community, and for jumping on live tonight with me. Thank you, Barry. It's been great. No worries. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. Cheers. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Game Changers podcast. There's a couple of things I'd love you to do to help us and help yourself to spread the message further. Make sure that you like the Game Changers on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. Please subscribe by clicking the link below to ensure that you keep up to date with the weekly episodes we share here at the Game Changers podcast with amazing entrepreneurs and business owners around the world. And of course, like, if you're in a position where you may be overwhelmed with business or looking for a way to grow faster, more effectively, and you realize that the key to success is being surrounded by amazing people who have been there and done that before, I'd like to invite you to apply to have a game plan session one-on-one with one of my team here at the Game Changers. There's no cost if you get through. All that we ask is that you are doing a minimum of $250,000 per year to really be able to utilize the strategies and the tactics and the mindset shifts that we share with you, that you're coachable, that you're a decent person, and you're willing to take on board some advice. If not, that's totally cool. But I know for me, I wouldn't be where I am right now without the support of so many mentors and coaches and resources along the way. And I'd like to pay that forwards and give back to you the opportunity to work with us one-on-one for free to put together a customized game plan. And the reason we're doing this is a couple of things. Number one is that sometimes it's just the smallest thing that can make the biggest difference. And I think that entrepreneurs and business owners have the opportunity to change the world. And if we can maybe help you to make the smallest shift to change your life and your world, you're changing ours in return. The second thing is that we are always looking for amazing clients to work with and to welcome into and invite into the Game Changers community. And so if at the end of the call, you do feel that there's a huge amount of value there, that we feel that there's a great values fit there, we can have a conversation about working together. But this game plan call, there's absolutely no obligations to work with whatsoever. Allow us to help you with the years and years and years of knowledge that we have in growing and scaling great companies. And I think that business owners are the future of the world. If there's a way that we can help you to create a better business, more profit, more fulfillment, more fun,
I would love the opportunity to do that now. So click the link below, book your game plan session. Make sure you follow us on social and start to date with the latest episodes of the Game Changers podcast. My name's Barry William Mobility. Thank you so much for your support and look forward to seeing the next one. Bye for now.